Hi, welcome back to Storytime with Dave Booker. Today we're going to be reading from one of my books, Time Is. We're going to start these all over again. We're going to do the first chapter and work our way through a few chapters and then work our way through the whole series, a few chapters in each. And then I want to go over some of my short stories and some of the other things I've written. By the way, my books are now moving over to draft to digital. So, well, they'll still be available from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Smashwords, and all these other places. There's going to be a lot more availability. Average cost for the ebook is $3. Average cost for the actual paperbacks is $10. I can't come down any more than that because I'm only making less than $1 on each of them. So, but it's nice to have a little bit wider availability. So today we're going to do Time Is. I'm going to do it on my tablet. I've got my copy up here so that you can see what it looks like. And we're going to start with chapter 1 and work our way to, I don't know, maybe 1 and 2 today. How's that sound? So again, if you like these stories that I'm reading, let me know. If you don't like them, tell me what you don't like. Because I can take constructive criticism, or as I think it was Mark Twain said, I can take any amount of criticism as long as it's unqualified praise. So, yeah. All right, let's begin. So there's a quote on the top of my chapters. I like doing that. And it kind of sums up what the chapter is going to be about. So the quote on here is from Scott Lemuel, time traveler. He's the one who invented the TCVTD. It says, time is, that's all you can say about it. It is infinite, finite, linear, and abstract. We have defined time to suit our needs and ideas. Therefore, time is a planetary agreed upon construct by which we measure its passage and future. And then the story starts. I swiveled in my chair. Hey, Scott, what time is it? The moment I said it, I knew I shouldn't have. He prized his long, thin body from the computer chair at his console and walked slowly towards me, his forehead puckered in deepening thought. When and where? He asked. I controlled the exasperation of my voice. Here and now, please. I really wish Scott would let me wear a watch. Do you want to know when, from when you asked, or from the future construct of the time our question and answer period ends, and I checked my watch? I knew he was enjoying himself by the slight smirk on his face. Roll up your sleeve, look at your watch, and tell me what time it is, please. I pleaded. I was having a hard time controlling my temper, but to lose it would only bring about a greater discourse from Scott. He ponderously rolled back his sleeve, looked at his watch, mentally added about 7 seconds for his answer, and thereby gave me the time when his answer had finished. Precisely 14:45, 36 seconds, he answered with that smug look I knew far too well. I hated that look. Scott, why do we have to go through this every time I ask you the time? He looked at me with mild surprise. I would even ask. Precision, especially in time, is of paramount importance. The more closely you keep track of time, the more you are able to accomplish within the time allowed. Scott won't let me have a watch of my own, as he claims it would upset the sensitive computational and geographical diodes of his machine. It's BS, and he knows I know it is. It's just so he can play this game. I don't mind, but sometimes it gets a little old. Side note. I used to have the greatest fossil watch. It was a sundial. I had a tiny watch on the band so I could tell people the time and make it look like I was really using it. One guy asked what I'd do at night. I told him I just used a flashlight. I thought it was hysterical. Sorry, but I digress. In case you want to know, I'm a computer repair technician and used to work for Best Buy. I also studied computer programming in the old languages, COBOL, RPG, Fortran, and assembler. I was sent out on a repair job to this prefab building Scott put up in the middle of a field. After seeing that I knew about creating circuit boards and programming, he offered me a job helping him. He's putting together this machine he was working on. Excuse me, I need some tea. That was over 2 years ago, and we were now at the finishing stages of building what he calls his Temporal Correlation Vector Transport Device, or TCVTD for short. I had more than a hint as to what it is and what it would do, but none on how it would work or what he intended to do with it. I pretend not to know things or understand them sometimes just to please Scott. He used to be a teacher and he loves explaining things. My task is the relatively unskilled portion of soldering boards, components, and fitting pieces in place where he tells me. Though there are times when I'm able to perform more intricate tasks like making coffee or run out for sandwiches. Actually, there's a lot more to it than that, as I also program and encode the chips when he tells me what he needs. Feels good to use the knowledge I worked so hard to gain. As it stands now, the TCVTD is a thick partial wall with a doorway. Think 25 feet wide, 4 feet thick, and 9 feet high. About with the doorway about 5 feet wide in the center. The doorway has a back panel that becomes the portal once activated. It also stands in the middle and to the back of the lab. I think we should have placed it somewhere else, anywhere else, as it's a nuisance to get around, to get to the bathroom in a hurry. Once it is completed, the walls will be covered in jet black panels, and the only control feature will be a small 2-foot square touchscreen. I'm pretty sure we can have it buttoned up today. I hope so, since we have been going since noon, and it's now almost 2200. Oh, no, Scott and I are both prior military, and we use military time. In case this confuses you, just remember that 0001 is to 1200 is AM, and 1201 to 0000 is PM. Got it? If you do, you caught on faster than I did. It took me months. Sorry, just thought you might want to know. I'm tired, hungry, and need a beer. Scott looked at me with his spaniel eyes and a face which reminded a lot of Captain Picard. Don, I'd like you to stay on tonight and help me finish, please. Whenever he really wants me to stay late or do anything he thinks I might object to, he gives me a look that reminds me a lot of my old dog Trots when he wanted a treat. I usually gave in. I really enjoy this project, and even though he's paying me a lot of money to assist, I also enjoy his company. Scott is usually serious about time and this project, but he can also be a lot of laughs. He knows plenty of stories that would have you rolling on the floor. He was in the Air Force and has traveled around the globe with stories about everywhere he has been. I was in the Army myself, and while we were working, we spent a lot of time arguing the relative merits of each. I finished soldering the boards and then pieced them into various ports. I watched him walk around the almost finished machine and make some more adjustments and inputs. I knew once he sealed it, it should only require the regular mapping updates and a simple system check. Put the access panel in place and then seal it. After you're done, we'll talk. He closed his laptop with an air of finality. As I placed the panel in place and put the coverings over the rest of the machine, I was glad to hear him calling a Chinese place and ordering dinner. I was pleased the idea of food had finally crossed his mind. By the time dinner arrived, had finished placing the rest of the covers. Don, do you understand what we have built here? His face was flushed with excitement to the top of his bald head. His hands trembled and his eyes were bright. Let me guess, a time machine. I exclaimed with mock enthusiasm. His eyes lost their sparkle and his face went pale. Did you extrapolate that from the components you've been installing? His voice registered a surprise that was almost an insult. Well, with your obsession about time and the programs I've been working on and the tests we did, I kind of guessed that's what it was. Of course that's what it is. Frustration at my guessing welled from every pore of his body. I suddenly thought about the reality of what it was, and for a second I voiced my misgivings. I suppose you realize that if this works, we've just created the end of civilization as we know it. Okay, now that's chapter 1. I am not going to be able to do chapter 2. My throat is killing me. I apologize. I will do chapter 2 tomorrow, and maybe we'll try, if my throat's better, I'll get chapter 2 and 3. Need to get some honey for this cup. So I appreciate you coming by. I appreciate you visiting and listening to the opening of Time Is. And we'll continue on to the point. I'm going to get you to the point where we actually go on some trips with Don and Scott. And then we'll go a little bit farther, do a couple of trips, and then we'll work our way to a next story. So I appreciate you coming by. Hope you enjoy these and look forward to seeing you on my next reading. So thanks again, and you have a good day. Bye.